right, welcome back, y'all, to another episode of the Saint Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Will Santana, and
I'm Stan London. We're back a lot quicker this time, aren't we, Will?
yeah, a lot quicker, man. But I didn't want to come back quicker because this was trash, man. uh,
Yeah, it's not a very good one, folks.
all right, before we get into that, though, Stan, just an update on these Dynamite Kickstarter books. Some people got the regular paperback, and then some people got the hardcovers. I got the hardcovers. They came in finally. They're heavy. Yeah, did you get any update on yours yet?
Nope, no update on mine.
All right, so not even a shipping label, nothing.
Oh, no emails whatsoever.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know and are trying to track it down, for me, it came in an email saying Dynamic Forces. So it didn't say Dynamite Entertainment or Dynamite Comics. It said Dynamic Forces. And when I opened up the email, it says stamps.com. Um, Basically, it looks like they printed the label on the 28th for me of February, and then it was shipped on the 14th, and it arrived on the 20th. So for those of you who are trying to track this stuff down, go in your email search engine and try searching Dynamic Forces, and hopefully it's in there for you. And Stan, you didn't even have that email, correct?
Nope.
So, and you say your theory. So Stan had a theory. Did we say that in the last podcast? Did we say that out loud in the podcast?
I don't know if we did, though. I'm still convinced my theory is now bunkus.
Okay. So I don't remember if we said it on I don't want to say camera, but on screen, but Stan had mentioned to me that he thinks that it's possible that they are shipping these in order of the pledge on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, because I did my pledge like either the second to last day or the last day of it.
Okay, I did mine the first night. I didn't do it when it first opened, but I did it the first night. So I did it later that day. Um, I regret getting one of them, but that's a whole nother story. We don't need to dive into that. I'm pretty sure like 90% of people can figure out which one I regret getting.
Honestly, I'm surprised you're not regretting getting two of them now that you've read all five issues of Justice Ducks.
The naked duck ones though are okay though, right?
Oh yeah, the Negaduck one's fine, but you could have just gotten the trade of Negaduck itself.
Yeah, but you know it's in there though. I got them all in one. Anything else you want to cover before we dive into issue number 5 of Justice Ducks, Stan?
Yeah. So last episode, we had talked about some of the celebrities that had passed, and we missed a few, including one that's actually very important to the Darkwing community. We neglected to mention that oh god, why am I drawing a blank on his name now?
From
David
Twin.
Lynch,
There you go.
the guy that created the show Twin Peaks, which the Darkwing episode Twin Beats was a direct homage to, is one of the ones that passed away recently.
Now, in fairness to us and in fairness to Stan, last time we did not have that plan to have that conversation about the people who passed away. Um, I just kind of would just like improving and just like it came out of nowhere.
Because we also missed mentioning Tony Todd and the person that voiced Oogie Boogie.
Yeah, Ken Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we there was a lot of people we didn't name, but you know it was kind of like I threw Stan on the spot, but you didn't do bad, Stan.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So anything else you want to cover really quick before we dive into this?
No, let's jump into the garbage pile.
All right, let's get it over with, huh? Enjoy the rest of our weekend.
Yeah.
All right. So Stan, do we have any new writers, any new artists or anything?
Nope, no new writers, no new artists, no new title.
No new title again. We had a title for like one or two of them, didn't we?
The first three, I think we had titles for.
Okay, so the first three and then it just stopped, huh?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Stan, take it away.
So we start in Darkwing's headquarters on the bridge, and the Justice Ducks are meeting because, as Neptunia says, we've had 4 alien invasions in the last weeks. That's not normal. That bothers me. I thought maybe we could come up with some theories about what's going on. Tell me what you've got. There are no bad ideas.
Yeah, and then we got Stegma who's saying it's because he's really handsome and he'll take his and maybe because they want to take his picture.
And after an awkward silence, Neptunia then says, there are very few bad ideas.
All right, and then we got Morgana. She now chimes in, and she's wondering if somebody is summoning these people to Earth on purpose.
Which could possibly be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Darkwing, meanwhile, is chilling with a stack of comic books, along with one of his favorites, Colonel Calamity.
Mm-hmm. And then so Darkwing kind of opens up and we kind of get like a little brief touch of what the comic is about. We get was it Dr. Fink? Was that his name?
Yep, Dr. Fink, who's Colonel Calamity's nemesis. We even get one page from it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to note, Calamity Comics, the company that put this out, it's very similar to Charlton Comics, which is an actual publisher of comics that we used to have here.
See,
Like,
I was going to ask you, Stan, were there any references in here? Because I'm not a hardcore comic book guy, so I was going to ask you about this. Was there any references in here that you noticed?
Aside from that and the fact that the main character looks to be kind of Superman-ish, the only other thing that I thought counted kind of as a reference is that Dr. Fink looks a lot like that guy from the Goofy movie.
I thought he looked like the bad guy for Nightmare Before Christmas. No, not Oogie Boogie. It was Doctor something.
Oh, right. Yeah, kind of looks like him too.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna skip over that because we don't need to read the comic of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So
and
what
then
happens next?
Oh, go ahead.
I was asking you what happened next.
Okay, I was just gonna say, Darkwing says like, Colonel always defeats Doctor Fink at the end, but what larks while he tries. And then we get Neptunia saying that all the other aliens from the other issues they all receive signals.
Yeah, although they didn't have the same reason for coming here.
Yeah,
and then Launchpad chimes in. They've seen an observatory while flying around. They might know something there.
Yeah, and then Gizmo kind of like projects the observatory so everybody can see it.
Yeah, of course, Darkwing thinks they're wasting their time because that place was shut down years ago, and the only thing in there is a bunch of raccoons.
Which will be something that'll come up again.
And then Darkwing mentions he's trying to read a Colossal Colonel Calamity comic book classic, which makes me think of Colossal Comics, Disney Afternoon Comics.
Yeah, and then pretty much, like they're all still trying to figure it out, and Darkwing thinks it's a waste of time. He's trying to get them out of there. He's trying to get them hints to like, please leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting tired of all the jibber jabber and everything. He even throws the comic at Stigma's face, and he yells, "And get out of my hideout!"
Yep.
Come
on, Jack. Boy, what a grouch.
Yeah. So then we get two guys who are robbing a bank. It never said the name of the bank, did it?
Nope, it's just called bank.
Okay, yeah. So they robbed the bank and they got some knockout gas and they have some gas masks. They're running off, and then who pops up?
Gizmo Duck wearing a spacesuit helmet over his head.
Oh, was it a spacesuit helmet? I thought it was just for the gas.
Well, yeah.
I get where you're going.
Looks like a spacesuit helmet.
All right, and then out of nowhere, Gizmo Duck gets I don't want to say attacked, but
abducted.
Yeah, he gets abducted. There's a giant. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say a helicopter with a magnet, and it grabs him and takes him away.
Yeah, and the two bank robbers are like, "This is our lucky day. We can still make it to the truck." Huh?
What?
No, I was just reading. What you said now?
I was going to say a quote of theirs. I don't know who that giant magnet belonged to, but I'd like to buy them a cup of coffee. Heck, I'd like to buy them a yacht.
And then bam, they get smacked dead in the face.
Yep, by Stegma.
Yep. Stegma notices that Gizmo Duck has disappeared.
Yep, he appears to have misplaced him.
All right, and then we go back to Darkwing's hideout, and they're looking at a map, and Stegma marks where all the aliens have appeared in the last several issues.
Well, I think Stegmot's only marking where the bank was. I think the other marks were already on the map.
Okay, it looked like he was because he's got the marker in his hand.
Yeah.
All right, all right, and
So
Netunia is still. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say what you were about to say.
Okay, yeah, Darkwing's still frustrated, with this alien things. He just wish they would leave it alone. Why would this have anything to do with aliens?
Well, Neptunia makes a pretty good point. Listen, every case we've had for weeks now has had some alien connection. A better question would be why wouldn't this have something to do with aliens?
All right, so then kind of Darkwing just gives in, like, yeah, 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 like if you insist, we'll go out there. Let's see what we can find.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, so it was Gosling who marked it.
Looks at least for the circle.
Okay. Yep. And then Morgana mentions they're going to head out to the observatory, and Launchpad mentions he'll fire at the Thunderquack really quick.
Yep.
Darkwing thinks this is a wild goose chase, and he tells Gosling to stay around. So she got Pumpkin.
Yep. And well, I was gonna say she actually listened for once, because how many times does he tell her to stay put and she goes anyway?
Yeah. All right, staying where we at now.
The observatory. It
All
takes
right.
a little longer for them to get there though, so it's already dark by the time they get there.
Yeah,
So
LP.
dang, I completely forgot you can't land a plane on a mountain.
Hmm. Yep, and then Darkwing. Oh no, Netunia tells them that they all should be careful. This is a hostile environment. Um, Darkwing feels like, hey, what are you scared like a bunch of kids? I assure you, there's absolutely nothing here too. And bam, they get hit with a booby trap.
Yep. A cage falls down around them.
Yep. And then Netunia tells like, there, you see, it's a trap.
Well, thankfully they have a stegma on hand to bust them out of it.
Yeah, he's strong enough to get him out of there.
Of
All
course,
right.
Darkwing immediately finds another trap.
Yep. This is like an old school trap though.
Yep.
Yeah, he gets tied up on his feet and he's hanging by a tree.
Yep. I love Neptunia's little jab at him though. I am the terror that dangles in the night.
Yep. And he's like, hardy hard hard. Get me down, will you?
One thing I don't get is he mentioned that he just had his suit dry cleaned. It's like, what is getting caught in a rope trap do to his suit that would make it unclean?
Yeah. That's true, man. So then we get LP, he turns on the flashlight and he gets hit with a trap.
Yep, with a log swinging down from a rope, kind of like the ones that took out the ATSTs in Return of the Jedi.
Hmm. And then Morgana mentions she could do magical fire.
Yep, but Neptunia says they shouldn't do that just in case they might give themselves away by the light.
Hmm. Yeah. So then they get into the observatory, they take a peek, and they see Gizmo Duck.
Yep,
And they say, quiet, someone's coming.
yep. It's a gentleman wearing some sort of dome helmet over his head, so we can't see who it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to fire up the beacon again, and when he turns it on, we have an ad for ice cream, an ad for tofu dogs, an ad for impressive sculptures, and an ad where someone's being nice and friendly. All
Yeah.
things that brought the previous four groups of aliens to Earth.
Hmm. Yeah. And he can't figure out what is he doing wrong.
Yep.
And he says, how dare I not increase the signal without causing harm to Gizmo Duck? and I don't do that sort of thing not anymore. And they all like once he takes the helmet off, they realize it's Dr. Fink.
Yep, he's apparently a real guy. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Of course, in their zealousness of gasping, he is alerted to their presence.
Hmm.
Intruders? Super intruders? Why won't you brutes leave me alone? I scarcely believe my eyes. The fictional felon from Frantic Four Color Fantasies in the flesh.
Yeah. And they get put like in a force why can't I think of force field?
Yep.
Yeah, he says
Force,
it's one.
one
Yeah,
of my earliest inventions and still one of the most useful. Keeps the raccoons out, don't you know?
yeah. Stegma is trying to bust out of it, but it's not working. Yeah, and then
Yep. He's also asking Darkwing. They thought that Dr. Fink was a made up character. He was. He is. I mean, I guess he isn't now. Oh, I don't know what I mean.
mhm. And then Darkwing realizes that he is from the comics, and Dr. Fink is like, interesting, you collect antiques. Yes, yes, that's me. Well, after a fashion, oh, where to begin? Then we get like his little backstory, right?
Yep. He was the greatest scientist on the planet Zork. He crash landed on Earth years ago, tried to fit in for a while, but he needed something to stimulate him, so he created a robot nemesis, aka Colonel Calamity, to defeat him.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Newspapers picked up their escapades. A comic book company requested permission to make comics.
mhm.
It was
He said,
fun.
"Yep." And then the inevitable happened. I defeated him.
Yeah.
Hmm. All
So
right. And then he
he
kind of like pleads that he's sorry, and he's been sending out signals into space, and he just wants to go home.
yep.
And then he's like, "Oh, go ahead, Stan."
I was going to say he lets them out of the bubble and tells them Gizmo Duck will wake up any minute anyway. So do your worst. Take me in. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. And Morgana kind of realizes he's not particular evil, and Darkwing agrees. Uh, there's no point in picking on an evil scientist. So Stegman's like, "What can we do?"
Yep.
And before long, Gizmo Duck is back on his feet.
Yep. He's a little woozy after being zapped by a zappy thing. Zappy
Hmm.
thing. I've come up with 32,367 inventions. You try naming 32,367 inventions.
Yeah. And then we get Netunia. She kind of like she comes up with an interesting idea. She rips one of the pages out of the comic. I kind of didn't understand this then. I don't know if maybe you understood it a little better than I did.
What didn't you understand?
Like she ripped out the page and then she was talking about getting stigma with crowns. I didn't understand how was this going to help him get home.
Oh, because they created a motion comic out of the comic book in order to send the right signal back to his planet to alert them that he's here.
Oh, okay, okay. I kind of didn't get it. I was like, I don't get it. Why did they rip that page out?
Of course, Darkwing's not very happy about it.
Mm, oh yeah, and he said it's
That's
been
out
out of
of
print
print.
for years.
Yep,
Yep,
incredibly rare.
and then Morgana kind of zaps one of the images from the comic to like she projects it or something, right?
Yep,
And Gizmo's like, "How's that new ending coming along?" And LP says, "We're brainstorming it." And Stegma admits he draws great flying saucers. And so the signal goes out,
yep.
and Stegma is asking, "Did we do good?"
Time itself is the only thing which will enlighten us.
Yeah. So Darkwing tells people he's gonna catch a night owl. Netunia agrees. She says it's not the worst idea. Um, Dr. Fink says he can't sleep. He says he'll stay up.
Yep,
Hmm.
and the people he's been waiting for do finally find him.
Yep. They come in and they zap him up out of there.
Yep, but not before he takes the cover off his robotic Colonel Calamity to tell him goodbye.
Yeah. And as they're zapping him up, the rest of the Justice Duck, they start to slowly wake up and they see him leaving.
Yep.
And of course, once he leaves, Darkwing's got to take the credit. He said, "No need to thank me. When you replace my copy of Colonel Calamity number 36, it doesn't have to be mint. Near mint is perfectly acceptable."
Are you seriously suggesting you did anything useful back there? You didn't even want to come. Not true. Without my comic book, we'd be getting another alien invasion next Tuesday, and the Tuesday after that, and the one after that.
Yeah,
Furthermore, I think you'll find my knowledge of Dr. Fink was invaluable.
yeah. Morgana's like, letting him get it out of his system. Yep. And then Darkwing heads out with Stegma and he says, "After all, it's thanks to me that we won't be seeing any more aliens in St. Canard for a good long time to come." And what's in the background? Well, not really in the background, but in the foreground.
Behind them, hiding in the bushes, is about 7 more aliens.
But I'm glad it says the end.
Yeah, I am super glad that they never, ever followed up on that.
All right, before we get into scores, Stan, I just got to tell you, I think this was the worst one. Um,
Agreed.
it's not worse than number 10 of Darkwing, though.
No, not worse than number 10 of Darkwing. It's definitely the worst issue of Justice Duck, so. And
Correct.
once again, the series falls flat on its face. Not that this one was at least like this one didn't really get very high up.
Mm-hmm.
Like best issue in my opinion was the one we did previously, issue 4.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and score this, Stan. Come on, what do you get? How many gas gun canisters are you gonna give this one?
Hmm. I'm torn between a 1.5 and a 2.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it did have some cool moments, some good lines. I rather enjoyed the whole, villain out of a comic book angle, but it's like again with the aliens. Like, and even though I know this issue was meant to be like, oh, this is why the aliens, it's like, I don't care. I'm sick of aliens. Like, you wanted to do this, you should have done this issue 2 or issue 3, and then had the last couple issues be them fighting some more grounded threat.
All right. So you got to give it a score, though. You said you're torn between 1.5 and 2. You gotta pick one.
1.75.
Okay.
I'll split the
You
difference.
split the difference. Okay. I'm gonna split the difference too. I'm going way lower than you. I'm gonna go 0.25. I thought it was really bad, man.
Yeah.
I just don't never see the need for the Justice Ducks in general. Like, why do you need all of them? Because like they should only be used when they're like fighting like an ultimate villain, like just someone or multiple villains. As
Yeah.
reading these, I kept thinking like maybe they're gonna do like a bunch of one-offs together, have teamed up, instead of the Justice Duck or not uh
Instead
the
of the whole team, have it be like Darkwing and Stegma or Darkwing and
no, no,
Morgana.
no, 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 no. I kind of mean like it's like instead of the Fearsome Five, you can't do the Fearsome Five for every
Oh,
episode.
you mean in terms of the villains, have it be like
Yeah,
Predator and Bushroot.
yeah, or kind of like a like not even the Fearsome Five, any of the Fearsome Five, kind of like Chameleon. Um, I don't know why I'm not thinking the Bugmaster. Maybe
Yeah.
have like three of them together, the one-offs.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't think of the paintbrush one name right now. What's her name?
Splatter Phoenix.
Splatter Phoenix. Oh my god, I drew a blank, dude. Something like that. Have two or three of them team up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for, but we never got that, man. Patty Whack and somebody. That would have been
Yeah.
really cool.
Lots of missed opportunity.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my score, man. These Justice Ducks, they were terrible, dude. Pretty much all five of them, in my opinion. I know
Yeah.
there was one that you liked in particular, but um, I didn't like any of them.
How
what
about our villain?
You want to rate the villain? I didn't think he was the
Yeah.
villain. Okay, go for it.
Give him about a 1. You know,
Okay.
concept was kind of cool, but didn't really do much villainous things. Like most of his villainous stuff was back when he was younger, and even that was more
Mhm.
staged than anything else.
Okay. I guess I'll give him a 1. He didn't bother me, but he never really presented himself like a villain. It was like really short, you know?
Like the most villainous thing he did in this issue was kidnap Gizmo Duck.
Yeah. And he kidnapped him so he could go home.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, but that's about it, man. I would give him a 1. All right. So, uh, Stan, that wraps up Justice Ducks 1 through 5, right? We're done.
Yep. We're done with Justice Ducks.
All right. And then hopefully you can continue the Nega Duck series with Tiffany. Hopefully y'all can get that going.
Yep. And at some point, you and I will have to delve into this new Darkwing series, which I assure you is far better than
Okay.
anything that Dynamite had put out up to this point.
Okay. And I also want to
Like,
check out the DuckTales one too. I have not read that yet.
it's
Darkwing or
good.
DuckTales. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely behind, and hopefully you can get your Kickstarter soon.
Hopefully, though, I only ordered the one book, the one that had the classic good Darkwing content.
All right, everyone. So Stan wants us to do the new Darkwing series. We might either tackle that. I might want to do one episode of the DuckTales though. I'm kind of curious about that. I'm really curious about that. But we'll get back to you guys. I think Stan might put his foot down on that Darkwing. He really wants to do that one.
That'll be our next one. Yes, foot is firmly down. Like it's so far down that the that Moliarty is seeing it.
Okay. All right, guys. Stan, you got anybody you want to plug or anything?
Nothing I'm got a plug. I am gonna give a shout out though to someone who's attempting to do me a solid.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jonathan Beltran.
Jonathan's a good guy, man. I like him.
Yeah, he's keeping his eyes peeled at the. He's at Disney right now. He's keeping his eyes peeled for those new Darkwing Duck Mallard Cup candies.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he finds one, he's gonna send one to me so I can try them for my channel.
Okay. Yeah,
and rest assured, if I do get it, I'll probably plug that episode. You know that reaction through all of our channels.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to the St. Canard Files. We hope you guys stay dangerous.
Yep. I gotta go put my copy of Calamity Comics number 36 back in its poly bag.
All right. All right. Good night, everyone.